Hello again. Welcome everybody to the Wright Report. I'm being joined by a couple of my homies, Ishmael Cox, Brenden Wiley. What is up?
What's up, bro?
What up? So today, the NBA is coming back. Everybody's in Orlando. Scrimmages are over. We're getting restarted tonight. Clippers and Lakers jumping it off. This is just the episode. We're just gonna do a quick preview of what we think is gonna happen. Not too much. We're just gonna pick who we think is gonna win each conference. Who is our sleeper team? We'll kind of talk about what our thoughts are going into this thing, and pretty much how we feel like it's going to end in the middle of October. So with that being said, we're going to start with the Eastern Conference. Brenden, I'll start with you. Give me two teams. Give me your champ and your sleeper team.
This is gonna seem real obvious, but give me the Bucks as my champ, and Philadelphia as my sleeper. And I know Philly's not really a sleeper, but if Ben Simmons continues to decide to shoot, I feel like that gives them a much better chance because that is the one thing that team has been missing for the past few years.
Yeah,
I just want to know how that's your sleeper team. They were in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I know, but I still think the Bucks are marginally better than them.
That's true. Ish.
I'm the same way with it. Bucks, they're taking the Eastern Conference. They have nothing's holding them back, nothing stopping them. Giannis is an animal. If we're just gonna be completely honest about it. And my sleeper team, looking at it, I'm not gonna lie, I almost said the 76ers too, but I can't because of that. It's like, all right, y'all were here last year. But I do think if anybody has the chance of making it to the conference finals, it's gonna end up being there, and that's them staying healthy. Ben Simmons shooting, I think that's what pushes them all the way. If he does, but just that Philly team staying healthy. If they're not, they don't have that bench that some of these other teams have.
All right, so I guess that brings it to me. So I'm gonna be the contrarian today. My champ is gonna be the Boston Celtics. Why? I'm glad you asked. Milwaukee. So the Bucks were here last year, and they had Giannis, they had Chris Middleton, they had everybody that they had last year, and somehow found a way to blow it. Now, granted, Kawhi Leonard was a big part of that, but it's kind of one of those things where they're really great during the regular season, but for some reason they can't get it done when it really matters. No disrespect to Giannis, no disrespect to that team and that organization, but that's just what I feel like is going to happen again. My sleeper team, give me the Miami Heat. They're a team you really, really have to watch out for. They're in the 4th seed right now. They're a couple games back from the 3rd seed. They could take that 3rd seed from Boston with a couple wins. And, you got Jimmy Butler down there, being Jimmy Buckets. He's doing what he was doing up in Minnesota, minus calling his teammates words that I can't say on this channel. So it's just one of those things where I kind of see when I think sleeper, I think a team that you really just got to watch out for. Not to say that they're going to come out and outright win it, but they will mess a series up and might knock somebody out of the playoffs that they shouldn't have knocked out.
Okay, I can see that. My only thing against Miami is just the youth on that team. They have a lot of youth and a lot of people that haven't been there before.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to watch them because I agree with you. They really could knock somebody off because they've been running just about full steam all year.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see for sure.
But I'm glad you mentioned the youth. It's kind of one of those things where, when they say sometimes when you're so young, you don't know any better. And so it's like you're young, you have that youth. You don't know that you're not supposed to win. You don't know that you're not supposed to be in this position. So it's like, all right, cool. We playing with house money anyway. Like, let's just go out and get it. And the reason and to you guys' point, the reason I wouldn't necessarily say Philadelphia as a team is because of Ben Simmons. Don't get me wrong. He's a great player. I think he's a little overhyped at times. But I also saw him play down here in Houston when he was with LSU, and he really didn't do much. And I think that the whole thing of him switching to the 4 is kind of saying like, all right, look, this jump shot ain't gonna come anytime soon. If it's gonna come, it's gonna have to come during the full off season and not just this hiatus where we're kind of in and out and don't know exactly what we're gonna do. Don't get me wrong, he's good. Joel Embiid is good. They have a solid team, but it's that Ben Simmons factor where you need that guy as a second fiddle, and he's not. He's like right there.
Yeah, he's just not there
yet.
Yeah.
Once he gets there, because I do feel like he has that potential to really come out and set the league on fire. And once he gets there, he'll be amazing. But until that point, it's bringing the team down.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen videos of him shooting every summer. You're like, okay, he's developing the shot. The shot is there.
Yeah.
And then we get in the season, and he takes 1 3 in 72 games.
Everybody's like, oh my God, Ben Simmons can shoot a 3. Like, it was
exactly
1-3, guys. It was 1-3. 7 foot.
I was gonna say,
all the time.
We've seen that video every single year since he'd been in the league.
Yeah.
Oh, he's been working on his jump shot. All right,
he just won't pull it out.
Let's see it. But you working on your jump shot while you out playing at the park. Not literally, but just outside. All right, let me go work on my 3, and having a 6'6" full grown man running at you, jumping at you, are two different.
It's all different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I see where you're coming there. But we're gonna go back to this Celtics comment. The Celtics are your take all for this season.
For the East.
For the East? That's what I'm saying. You trust in Marcus Smart?
Okay, so hear me out. So you got Milwaukee. I've already said that they find a way to blow it. I'm not rooting for them to blow it, but it happens, and I believe in history repeating itself. Toronto.
But they blew it against Toronto.
Hey, and I'm glad you said that. Toronto, great team, good team. Honestly, even though they're a 2 seed, one of the biggest shocks of this season, if you ask me, because when Kawhi leaving, people weren't necessarily expecting them to do what they're doing right now. For them to be in the 2 seed, granted 6.5 games back, but to be in that spot was a shock. If you would have told me, okay, there'll be like a 5 seed, 6 seed, okay, I'd be like, all right, cool. But for them to be a 2 seed, 1 speaks to their coaching staff with Nick Nurse and how great he's doing, and 2, it just speaks to that chemistry that was there before he got there. Yeah. Honestly, minus DeMar DeRozan. And after Kawhi left to go to LA, it kind of just speaks to that. And they're a great team, but I don't know if they'll be able to get over that hump. It's kind of that surprise team that gets there.
Yeah.
Again, not
my
trying
thing
to
with that
surprise,
is,
but
if you take Kawhi out of it last year, like I've always thought Toronto was a solid team, honestly. Yeah. But you take Kawhi out of that, who's stopping Giannis? Like, that changes the whole thing.
Nobody.
Last year. That's where the East is going to be this year.
Nobody's stopping him. But Pascal Siakam has been going off this year.
True.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he took some great strides this year. Like, I think he realized the gravity of the situation in which that team no longer has a superstar, and they needed people to step up and kind of fill that role where Giannis was the forefront of that push.
All right. So, real quick, we'll switch it to the West. Ish, I'll start with you. Give me your champ and your sleeper team to watch out for.
Oh, we about to be arguing all through this one.
I know what you're gonna say.
All right, the West. As much as I want to bring it home, it ain't happening. I already know that. So, but as far as when it comes to knocking somebody out they're not supposed to, I got to bring it. Houston's my sleeper.
Okay.
And just because they're not going to go all the way. They're trying to play the small ball. Talking about it earlier with somebody, that's never been Houston's thing. Especially when one of the forefront people for playing small ball is a guard who doesn't shoot that much. Like, we brought in a strong guard who was like, bet I'm going to just take it to the rack every time because nobody's as athletic as I am.
That's true.
At my position. But they trying to go to this Golden State, we're going to shoot our way out of this hole. It's like, all right, so you give up a young center who was coming into his own, making his way into the offense to try to do something that when y'all done it in the playoffs ends up being the complete downfall.
Right.
Like, this is, But do I think they're going to make the playoffs? Yes. Are they going to piss some people off? Because it's going to be one of those, as much as I hate it and hate them playing small ball, they're going to end up knocking somebody out they're not supposed to. And champ taking it, Brenden, as much as I hate to say it, LA.
Which one?
Which
Clippers.
one? Yes, sir.
I gotta give it to him. My only problem is, especially watching them, like, that's a lot of talent on that team. It's gonna be them meshing together all the way through October.
Yeah.
Which I think they can. It's like you have stars that know the star role as far as being on the court, but don't let it consume them.
Yeah.
Like having Kawhi there, having that, all right, I know how good I am. I've worked at this, but I also know how to be in the background as well. Because as much as he was in Toronto and everybody talked about that, you got to remember he was still that person for the Spurs when he won defensive MVP. That was just like, who is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Just showed up going off like, okay. Still doesn't say much. He's still just like, all right, game time. All right, I'll see y'all later.
Yeah. Still the same Kawhi.
Give me your champ first, because I think we pretty much know who that is, and then give me your sleeper team.
All right. I'm gonna go with the Clippers as my champ, and this is no bias. I think if we are full strength, everybody comes back that's on quarantine right now, no one gets injured, I think it's gonna be really hard to stop us. And adding Joakim Noah to that mix gives us another, actually gives us a veteran center that has been around for a while, seen a lot.
Yeah.
And gives us just more depth to a bench that's already deep. And for my sleeper, I'm gonna go with Denver, man. They were close last year. They were real close. And then with the emergence, and us finally getting to see what Bo can do.
Man.
No, bro.
I don't like. I'm not saying that they will get there. I think they'll make it far in the playoffs, and I think they'll lose to a team that just has a little more going for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely know that they're gonna make it past the first round, and they might make it past the second round because that team, there's just so much length and athleticism on that team. You got Bo, Michael Porter Jr. Can't forget Jokic, and then Jamal Murray. Like, they got some good pieces. It's gonna be them meshing, and they're really gonna have to push to knock someone out second round. But I don't see any reason why they couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So somehow we're unanimous here. With the champ, it's gonna be the Clippers. And starting at the top,
You admit your team gonna lose?
You got Kawhi, huh?
You admit your team gonna lose? I'm proud of you.
I know we're not gonna win, but I'll get to that in a second. Trust me. It starts at the top. Kawhi Leonard is clearly one of the best players in the league. We were together, and I pretty much said if it's not for LeBron, Kawhi might actually be the best player in the league. He's an all-around player. He's one of the best defenders. I mean, like you guys said, he showed up in that 2014 finals and he wasn't putting the clamps all the way on LeBron, but he pretty much held him in check. And it's like,
he wasn't scared to do it.
He wasn't scared to do it. He had no problem. And it's like I said, it was like, who is this guy? It's this Kawhi Leonard kid, and he's just out here balling, and then he just does it year after year. He goes to Toronto, does the same thing, and it's just like, okay, he's set. You got Paul George, and he's set. And the biggest thing about the Clippers team is they are probably, if not the best, one of the best defensive teams in the league. You look at people like Kawhi, you look at people like Patrick Beverley, who will take on your number one player and get in his head and piss him off 48 minutes and not give two rips about it. He'll take a technical. He'll take that extra foul call. He doesn't care. He's going to get in your head. Minus him tearing Russell Westbrook's ACL, that was a little bit on the far side. But, outside of that play, he'll get in your head and just mess with you. You mentioned Joakim Noah. Though, with that cast and that supporting cast, and you got Doc Rivers at the helm, the Lakers are good. LeBron is great. AD is great. Yada yada yada. But once you get past them, who do you really have? The Clippers are deeper as far as starting lineup and the bench, and that's where that's why they're gonna win the West. Now, my sleeper. Call me a homer. Get it ready. And I say this not as they're gonna mess around and win it, but I say this as if they get out of the seed that they're in, they're going to knock somebody out the playoffs, and that is the Dallas Mavericks. Luka, KP, JJ Barea. They're a game and a half behind Houston and OKC for the 5th and 6th spot. All they got to do is win one game and they're in. And with everything that's going on with Houston, they'll probably win that game tomorrow. So with that being said, they're worried about that 5 and 6 seed, and honestly, they can get up to the 4 seed with a little bit of help if Utah decides to blow it a little bit. If they get there, if they get to that 5th or 6th seed, one, they avoid playing LA. They avoid playing the Clippers in the first round, because if they play the Clippers, they're screwed. I'll just put that out there. But if they have to play Denver, if they have to play Utah in that first round, there's a real possibility that they can knock them out. They are a scary team. If you look at some of the stuff they did this season, they beat teams they were not supposed to. They took teams like LA to the wire. The last game we saw, Boban Bogdanovic was dropping buckets against Denver like nobody's business.
Yeah,
they have that possibility, and then just to kind of add to it, they've kind of been the fun team of this whole of the bubble down in Orlando. You see the videos of Luka fishing, and they're playing DJ sets out on the balconies. They had that team chemistry to where Luka's not where he's going to be yet. KP is a great supporting cast member, if you can call it that. He's pretty much player number 2 on that team. They could make some hay in the playoffs by getting up to that 5th or 6th seed and knocking out who they play in the first round. They're not going to make it past the second round. They're not going to make it to the championship. And if they do, I eat my words happily. But as far as that first round, they can really mess some stuff up.
They remind me a lot of OKC this year in the fact that they have one main star, and then they have a supporting cast. But really, what makes them good and a viable option to kind of knock somebody off is their chemistry. They just have great team chemistry, and that's how they pull out wins that they really shouldn't be pulling off at all.
Right.
Like, they have no business to be in these games, but somehow it comes down to the wire. And even if they're behind, they find a way to make that extra push to win that game. So I can completely see Dallas being one of the sleeper teams. I almost put them as my sleeper team. I just like Denver that a little bit better.
I can see Dallas pulling it off just because of the fact of, and people forget, because Luka is young and in the NBA, he's not from the U.S. Like, he's done this before.
Right.
Like, and he's used to being that, all right, front person. And for a young guy, I hate when Murphy's right. But Luka's amazing. I'm not going to take that from him. So, like, if that's who knocks Houston out, I wouldn't even be mad at it, especially because, for me, yeah, I called Houston my sleeper, but we don't know what's going on with Eric Gordon. Without him, that Dallas is slipping that spot.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to lie about it. And we talk about that supporting cast, and Houston is built around superstars versus Utah or Dallas. There, it's like, all right, we have one player who's not even on a maxed out deal. So it's like, all right, cool. We still got money to blow. And then a really good supporting team.
All right. So with that being said, so we got our champs, we got our sleepers. Might as well, because we got a little extra time. Go ahead, give me who your NBA champ will be.
Well, you already know what I'm going to say. I'm going to go ahead and give it to the Clippers. if it plays out like I think it will, with us playing the Bucks, we've already seen Giannis lock down, or not Giannis, we've already seen Kawhi lock down Giannis once.
Yeah.
I see no reason why he couldn't do it a second time. And I honestly think that we could pull it off if it came down to us playing the Bucks.
Ish?
God, this one's a tough one. I gotta take it to Milwaukee. I think they're hungry. If it comes down to having to play Kawhi again, they're not letting it happen. I feel like that one, Giannis is gonna be like, all right, you got me the first time, but now it's my turn.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. One, if it's LA and Boston, like I would have, I mean, the Clippers are going to take that. If we do see an LA-Milwaukee finals, which is obviously a very real possibility, I get what you're saying, but I don't think that – I think that the problem with it is, yeah, Giannis got beat by him once, and yeah, he wouldn't want that to happen again, but we're discounting – to say that would also be saying that Paul George isn't hungry for his first chip. And like he wouldn't allow that to. Paul George has been on the bad end of a video for the past year plus. This from Dame Lillard after he knocked down that shot. He's been on the wrong end of that for a while, and that is probably burned into his brain. And obviously that's part of the reason for him going to LA to join up with Kawhi, because they have a championship roster.
But at the same time, if you want to put that out there, he's been in championship roster status before.
Yeah.
Him going to OKC with Russ, bet we gonna get there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like PG is one of my favorite players as well, but I feel like he just has terrible luck. If we're being completely honest.
I mean, and there are those players that have had terrible luck. I give you number 41 for the Mavericks, Dirk Nowitzki. He had terrible luck for a while up until 2011.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at people like Chris Paul. Horrible luck, especially when it comes to playing Steph Curry in the regular season and the playoffs. He cannot get it done. And, I mean, Giannis for the past couple of years, terrible luck. He might be one of those terrible luck people, but those people somehow find a way. Now, and I will say, you want to talk about a terrible luck person, let's look at Carmelo Anthony playing with Portland. That's somebody with terrible luck, because he had to spend a lot of his time out there in New York not doing anything. And so, I mean, now, yes, there are some terrible luck people that probably won't win it. But, like I said, Milwaukee is Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
Plus a bunch of great supporting cast. LA is Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and then their supporting cast. 2 is better than 1. That's all I'm saying.
But though with that, do they have a true leader though that can get them past that? If this goes 7 games, do they have somebody like you watch? But no, hold on. Hear me out. The Lakers, right? LeBron.
Yeah.
Everybody knows LeBron is vocal, especially with younger players.
Absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Do the Clippers have somebody like that? Paul George isn't a vocal guy.
Mm-hmm.
No.
He is an amazing player, not a vocal dude. Same thing with Kawhi. If they get in that spot, you're looking at Pat Bev trying to get everybody riled up, get them going.
But that's not a bad option.
I don't know about Pat Bev.
Yeah, that's not a bad option, though, because Pat Bev will try to keep them straight. Like, he's the most vocal of, I guess you could say, the team leaders. He might not be the star, but he's definitely the most vocal. And he's going to call somebody out when they need to be called out.
He will, but I don't see him as a vocal leader. He's a vocal person. He's a vocal player. Like, he is extremely vocal, but is he the person that can say, all right, do you know when to back down and, all right, I just need to talk to this person? Or anytime you see him, he's in somebody's face. Some people, it's like, all right, I got to back off. All right, chill out. Calm yourself down, because you get in the wrong person's face. You're going to throw off your team chemistry, which ain't going to help the game at all. Or you just going to get them pissed off. Now they go out, they get a foul, they get a tech, whatever. It's an emotional thing. It's the finals in basketball. Versus you bring it down, Giannis has had to be this person. Yeah, it might not be his natural role, but it's like, all right, I've had to come into it. And I think that's what he has done for the Bucks, aside from being the player he is all right, what's going on? What do we need? What do we need to do? And he can talk them through it. I just don't think that LA has that kind of person at this moment, because it might come out of PG. Not gonna lie, I don't think it's gonna come out of Kawhi. It's completely out of his nature. But if anybody's gonna have to come out of PG, or it'll have to come out of one of these supporting players, that you got to think, if you're just a supporting player, we don't see the team chemistry. You don't know what that relationship is with that one. Versus if you have a star player telling you something or getting you to do something, it's like, I'm gonna listen, because we've seen these two just leave. It's like, I want a ring too. We need to keep y'all here, right?
See that.
So we'll leave that one there. I do have one more quick question before we get out of here. And it's a real one, and I'm going to start it with my conspiracy theory that I've heard from other places, and I kind of believe it, that the reason they kind of tricked this up, especially in the Western Conference, is so that Zion Williamson gets a chance to make it into the playoffs. Because everybody says if he would have started the season healthy, they would have made it. So here's my question. Right now, the Pelicans are 3.5 games back from the AC Memphis. Does Zion Williamson get the Pelicans into the playoffs?
Okay, so I'm gonna say that I think he can lead them to enough victories to do it. At the same time, you have to look at the fact that Memphis is also running on all cylinders on the back of Ja Morant. And I think he's also going to be able to push his team. So it's more of a matter of they're going to need some help for sure with people playing Memphis. But if let's say Memphis for whatever reason just goes in there and just craps the bed, then yeah, I do see the Pelicans making it because I think Zion's going to be hard to stop for a lot of people. Even though he's young, he's hungry right now, and he just wants to just taste the playoffs at least. Even though he knows he probably doesn't have a chance to win anything, he wants to taste the playoffs.
Yeah. Ish.
I don't think he can just because of the pure fact of his playing style.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, like you said, he is hungry. He's young. He wants to get there. You have a more experienced Memphis team who Memphis sneaks into the playoffs and then will piss some people off. And that's what they're good at. I don't think they're going to knock Memphis out, honestly. But then Zion plays with a style of, if you watch videos from him in high school, in college, he's always been able to just bulldozer people. He's a big dude. He's big. He's athletic. The difference with it now is I feel like he has to learn how to play with it when, all right, these are people who are just as big and just as athletic as me.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like that's what it's going to be. It's like, all right, he doesn't have to change his playing style, but he has to learn how to make it work for him in the NBA. Because, again, college, everybody's still not at their full size. He's still bigger than everybody on the court.
Right.
Yeah.
But the way I think about it is, if he has to go head-to-head with LeBron, first off, I'm not going to lie, I would love to see that, just them at the rim with each other.
That's what would happen in the first round if they made it.
Yeah.
Exactly. But LeBron can send it back to him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he would have to learn how to do is to, all right, I can't just jump and jam on everybody. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what all the way up into October is what he's going to be learning how to do. And because he didn't have the beginning of the season, I think that's what's going to keep them out is he won't be able to learn all of that in enough time to get all the wins in without the help from anybody else. Yeah. And like Brenden said, if somebody comes through and Memphis just completely starts blowing it, that would be how it is. But if they just get in off of him purely going off, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think y'all kind of hit on the main thing. It was one, Ja Morant and Memphis are playing some real good basketball right now too. But I think you also got to look in between them at the number 9 spot, Portland. You got C.J. McCollum, Damian Lillard, Carmelo Anthony, 3 people who we talked about bad luck people.
Yeah,
they are high on the list. Those,
yeah.
You just
we ain't gonna call Damian Lillard a bad luck person because I was at the game when he hit that turnaround in Houston.
He's not
no time on the clock.
He's not a bad luck person, but he's one of those guys that is really good and honestly is a championship caliber player, but hasn't got there. And you hate to say it, but probably won't as long as the team is constructed the way that it is.
Yeah.
And then you add Carmelo. Carmelo is one of those guys where, I mentioned it earlier. He honestly, you take away the past couple of years and kind of some of the I guess, turmoil of his career, a week after getting somewhere and all that, yada, yada, yada. But he's one of those guys. He's a championship player. And, you have those 3 guys. If you talked about Memphis, coming out and crapping the bed, if they crap the bed, I'm not worried about New Orleans and Zion getting in. I'm worried about those guys getting in. And granted, they would have to play LeBron in the first round. And I mean, let's be honest, we know how that's going to turn out. But it wouldn't be an easy 4 or 5 games. It'd be a tough 6 or 7 games that they would take the Lakers to. They're not going to win, but like I said, if it's not Memphis in that 8 seed, it's probably going to be Portland.
Well, you also have to think Portland got Nurkic back, which before his injury, he was actually like starting to climb a little. Like he was making some strides toward being like a really good big man, like solid big man. So getting him back, this bubble and reset actually helped them out a lot because they lost some depth at that big man position. And so you have Hassan Whiteside, Nurkic, and then they still have the other kid, like Zach Collins.
Yeah.
But I mean, they got a little bit of help with this reset, and then like you said, they bought Melo in towards the end of the season. So yeah, if Memphis doesn't get in, like you said, Zion and them are only back 3.5 games. But if Memphis doesn't make it, I think Portland probably has the next best chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, with that being said, that's all the time we have today. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. Is there anything y'all like to say before we get out of here?
Not really.
Nothing's about to be a hell of a season, bro. Let's get ready to watch it.
Hey, so I do have to say this before we get out of here. Yes, I'm happy for basketball. Y'all, this is gonna be the wildest few months we're gonna have. We have baseball playing right now if they can get their stuff together. NBA is coming back today. Hockey's coming back. That's more for me. Football is gonna be back probably in about a month or so. They're gonna figure something out. At the very, it might not be college. It ain't gonna be high school, but at the very least, the NFL is gonna figure it out, and they're gonna be playing. Whether it might not be September 10th, but it'll be October 1st. They're gonna get figured out, and in that span of time, there will be so much sports happening. I don't know what I'm gonna be able to do with myself.
Yeah,
put that out there.
Like you said, it's about to be a wild time. I'm excited for it, honestly. And football coming back, much as I love basketball, it's Texas. I can't wait for football to get back, even though high school won't be playing. So, no, I miss my Houston teams going up to Dallas, but it's all good.
Well, with that being said, thank y'all. Like I said, thank y'all so much for joining me. It's been if you like this video, like it, subscribe to the channel, follow me on my Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Catch me online, catch my blog at mwrightreport.com. Thank you so much. Peace. God bless you.